Hello there, Poke fans, and since I'm a human, I've spent the last days playing Pokemon Sun and Moon, day in and day out. Get it? Cause day in, sun, day out, moon. Anywho, it has been a fantastic journey traveling through this beautiful region. These games has really grown into my heart and made the Alola region become my second favorite region ever. Slightly behind my native Hoenn region. What can I say? I love water. What I also love is the amazing soundtrack in these games. The Sun and Moon soundtrack is simply gorgeous and fits so well to the places and situations you find yourself in. So it really helped me immerse myself into the game. The soundtrack is so beautiful that I just recently bought it on iTunes and have been listening to it a lot. So because I loved it so much and it's a highly relevant topic, I decided to count on the top 20 music tracks from these games that I personally love the most. Yeah, I know, 20 is a lot, but I just can't help it. The amount of good tracks included in this game is too damn high. And there are still plenty of themes that I think could be worthy of having a spot. So be prepared for a very long honorable mentions list. If you want to skip to the top 10, however, you can click the annotation right here. You should also be aware that since this soundtrack contains some straight through badass or just beautiful parts, I will sometimes keep quiet and let you listen in harmony. Now with that said, let's start the countdown. This track has a very happy vibe attached to it. It's clearly Hawaiian inspired when the ukulele's playing and it makes me happy to listen to. It really gives me the feel of being in an Hawaiian inspired region, which I am. The theme is just so relaxing to listen to, and I could easily be living in this city in real life due to its relaxing atmosphere and good weather. The theme gave me a good first impression on the Sun and Moon soundtrack. I would also like to give some credits to the jazz inspired night version, which I think is very cool as well. This theme represents what Ultra Beasts really are. Twisted, misunderstood, alien-like creatures. The music just screams alien, and I think it fits so well to the Ultra Beasts. They do after all come from another dimension. I must admit that I haven't caught all the Ultra Beasts yet, because I'm often very lazy when it comes to playing the outer game, but I can still appreciate their awesome music. Well, a badass girl deserves a badass theme, am I right? I personally think this is a perfect theme for Plumeria. She's a girl with attitude, and this theme just shows that she, unlike the other grunts, ain't messing around. She is after all called the big sister of Team School, due to her thug attitude and care for her underlings. I like that even if this theme is hip-hop inspired, it also includes a badass violin that I think takes it to a level above the grunt theme. The violin, together with all the different tempo shifts, makes it very diverse and to me, also very likable. I'll just skip to the part of this song that I personally like the most. Take a listen. So, as our number 17 spot, we got the theme playing in Acrotique City. Wait, what? You're telling me this actually isn't Acrotique City? No way, this is Malay City? Well then. As our number 17 spot, we got Malay City theme. But seriously, how can you tell? This is literally the exact same structure. Anywho, the music for this place is very fitting. I guess when they decided to make another Chinese-inspired city, they had to put in some Chinese-inspired music as well. And since the Acrotique City music is one of the best city themes ever, I guess they must have felt some kind of pressure about making this one just as good, and they kinda did. The theme sounds exotic and has a very Chinese vibe, just as the city itself. And after all, this city was built by Johto inhabitants, so how could it not make it sound Johtoan or Johto-ish or whatever? Well, if Mali City is based on an exotic Chinese town, then there ain't much asking to where this place is based off. It is like taken straight out of a western cowboy movie. The harmonica gives it a really American vibe together with the banjo, but what really gets me is the whistling. It makes me imagine a lonely cowboy riding his horse into a silent village during sunset, while whistling calmly. So after I got the opportunity to ride it on a mudstyle, I went straight back here to ride it into town during sunset. I've never felt more like a cowboy. Yeah, that intro takes a very surprising twist. The first time I heard this intro, I thought it would continue in the same way, being calm and mysterious, but when the drums kicked in and the funky bass started clicking, I bumped my head so hard my earphones fell off. This theme is so funky I bet even Nanu would dance to it. Mirror B approves! But seriously, how can you not love this theme? It really makes me want to move forward, although the West Pony Canyon is a tough road. I think it's a very smart choice from Game Freak to put this happy music here, considering you're about to encounter some rather dark shit later on. Now, before I go to the number 14 spot, I want you to know that I had some serious problem picking which ones I wanted to be higher, just because I love the following themes almost equally much. That means that from here off, all themes is a 10 out of 10 on the music scale in my book. Not only is Gladion one of my all-time favorite Pokemon characters, his battle music is also my second favorite rival battle music ever. While Hao's theme was more like a friendly Mario Kart race, this theme really gives me the feeling of action. I don't know how, sorry about that, to explain it, but this theme just fits so well to Gladion himself. Even though the song goes in a rather high tempo, the music note seems kinda sad at times. It makes sense because even though he might play cool on the outside, I think inside he feels lonely and sad, and being edgy and rude is just his way to cope with it. I am so happy that Game Freak finally redeemed our wishes by giving us an opponent worthy of the titled rival, after having some rather lacking attempts through the years. Yes, I'm looking at you X and Y. I'm looking at you. And Game Freak continues the trend of always having incredible music for Route 10. I just love this theme with all my heart. It's so happy and adventurous. The instrument picks are perfect, changing from piano to gorgeous violin to high trumpet notes, and the music itself is just beautiful. Traveling through the third island with this theme in the background made the experience 3 times better, if you ask me. For me, this is as good as a Route theme can get, really. Now, every theme is a 10 out of 10, remember? Well, cause it bothers me to put this one at number 12, because it's so good! The intro is so cool and sounds like something I hasn't really heard in any other legendary battle before. And the theme proceeds to become even cooler. I like the high tempo and the drums in the background. It fits to the picture of Solgaleo running majestically through the savannah. I do think this theme represents Pokemon from other dimensions like Deoxys, Giratina, or Solgaleo and Lunala, since if you think about it, this song contains segments from both Deoxys' and Giratina's battle theme. It does make me wonder what we have in store for the next games, which most likely will be Diamond and Pearl remakes. Oh, I'm already hyped. Now that's how you make an intimidating intro, but if you listen to the whole theme, you'll find out that the intro ain't the only intimidating part of this song. The whole song is. I like the changes in the song that takes it from at 1 second sounding way too scary to suddenly changing to something that seems very much like the Team Magma or Aqua Grunt theme. It all comes together. Anyway, I love how intense and serious this music is, and it makes me feel like this is a very important battle. The only thing that bothers me a little is that it sounds as though your speaker has exploded or something through the whole theme. I have no clue to why they did that. This theme sounds exactly like it should sound. Scary, but still beautiful at some parts. It's perfect because it fits to the situation and battle. Considering you're battling a woman fused with an Ultra Beast and she's mad as fuck, you really should be scared. The battle is very climactic because you know that deep inside, Lucimin has just lost her ways, like we all do sometimes. She has grown sad and desperate and just wants to get her man back. However, he's lost in eternity. And Lucimin now wants to stay alone in this world for eternity herself. I really think Game Freak took storytelling in Pokemon to another level with these games, and I'm very happy for that. What I also am very happy for is how much more difficult they made these games, considering X and Y wasn't very challenging for an adult, that is. Or neither Auras. But in Sun and Moon, or Sun, which was the version I played, there was some really challenging battles, like this one. I struggled very much with Hair Beware particularly. It just wouldn't faint. The first time I heard this theme, I felt kinda disappointed because it wasn't intimidating enough, and I thought that was a bad thing. However, the more I heard it, the more I liked it, and after a while I thought, maybe having a battle theme that is happy for this situation isn't so bad after all. I actually think that is the exact point that Game Freak tried to prove while making this music. I think the theme tries to show what kind of emotional state you're in while the battle proceeds. I think the intense and doting intro illustrates all the fear and nerves you feel while entering the battle. But as the battle proceeds, you recognize what Pokemon is all about. Fun! So instead of taking it so seriously, you should relax and rather focus on having fun. However, you're going into a more serious encounter with these guys a little later on in the game. Yeah, in the Pokemon League. So the moral of the day is, enjoy all the fun stuff while you can. It may not last forever, you know. And yet again, Game Freak follows the tradition of having extremely emotional endings. I was so close from crying when this team played together with those fantastic pictures in the background. It was a really emotional moment for me that made me think back on all the fun times I had playing these games. Or as I like to say, all the fun stuff I had while exploring the beautiful Alola region. I know this is just a game and all, but to me it feels like something more than that. It's like an adventure that no one can ever take from me. An adventure that is all about me and the achievements that I accomplished. I think that is some of the main reasons why I love Pokemon so much. Because it gives me so much emotions and let me experience an adventure that I'd never been able to experience in real life, obviously. The Pokemon, all the different persons and all the stories. It's just so glorious, and these beautiful endings really makes me think back on the experience. It is now you realize that the main adventure is over. And you have to wait a whole year to wait for the next games to come out. The music makes it even more emotional and sad. I personally get chills just by listening to this music. It has an awesome mix of all the good stuff from the Alola region, and it's getting sprayed into your heart and veins while this gorgeous music is being played. It's so sad. Okay, but enough crying. Now on to a little more manly theme. It's your boy Guzma showing up in weird as fuck goggles and a badass battle theme. It is clearly a hip hop inspired song, just like all the other Team Skull music, but this one sounds way more badass. It really corresponds to Mr. Guzma here because he's a badass person. You can say what you want about Team Skull, but there ain't many other evil teams as far as I know that have captured the entire city and the areas around. And Team Skull can just thank their boy Guzma for that. Anyway, I won't consider Guzma as evil or something. He's just pissed off at society and wants to earn some dollars and capture Lusamine, if you know what I mean. I just love this part. If you listen very closely, you can even hear the 8th Foundation theme in here, which is a cool hint because, as we know, Team Skull and the 8th Foundation cooperated. Anyway, I just like this music because it shows that this guy actually is very powerful, both on and off the battlefield. I chose not to talk through that intro because it's simply too loud and intense. Intense. That is the perfect word to describe this theme. It sounds like you're running as fast as you can through a jungle or something. The theme is so good and fits perfectly to the taboos. The coolest thing is when you combine the Pokemon with the music, especially if you know what the voices in the background says. It actually is Hawaiian and means get prepared, guard with our lives, we are powerful, and race. It is the perfect words because it describes the power and speed of the taboos, and the determination to protect their respective islands. The fact that they would risk their life to protect their island is very awesome. They were made for doing this. They're like their island's own superheroes that would come to the rescue every time the people got in trouble. My love for the taboos has actually grown really strong the last weeks. I personally like Tapu Koko and Tapu Bulu the most because, you know. While the Battle Ultra Beast Lusamine music expresses Lusamine's rage and madness, this theme at the same time shows her more feminine side. This is both beautiful, intense and powerful at the same time, and that I really like. I like the use of instruments, and the fact that I added a woman singing in the background makes it very powerful to me. The use of violin is also very beautiful and corresponds to feminine Lusamine. I guess they tried to recreate the success of using violins from the Zinnia theme. And it paid off, cause this piece is genius, in my opinion. It goes in an entire different tempo than the Zinnia theme though, but the way this theme goes is very cool too. Especially because of all the percussion used in this theme to keep the intense vibe. I feel like it's an orchestra of violins and singing ladies standing right behind you as you battle the beautiful yet crazy woman of your dreams. Intimidating, motivating, powerful, beautiful, perfect! I love it from the intro to the end. It's flawless. The first time I heard this theme I almost collapsed. It makes my heart pump faster than I do a duo running. As I know I'm about to enter my greatest challenge. I'm just disappointed that the Victory Road wasn't more challenging. Cause honestly, I wouldn't have any problem listening to this theme for a little longer. Or a lot longer. The first second sounds like snowflakes falling onto your nose tip as you lift your head upwards. But when you see the majestic peak stretching against the sky, that is when the real intro starts. This theme has got everything, from the Hoenn-inspired trumpets to the marching drums to the violin. But what really gets me is the flute. That little part when the flute kicks in, it's so beautiful! I would actually go as far as saying that this one is better than the whole Victory Road theme. Because in addition to being powerful, this theme has got something more. It got that beautiful vibe. It really fits as you're climbing your way upward the steep ice mountain. It's so encouraging and makes me feel like I've become stronger than ever before. Well, if it's one theme that exploits the statement "it all comes together," it's this one. This is like nothing I have ever heard in a Pokemon battle theme before. It's completely original and so good. It is very powerful and makes me feel like this is actually where it all comes together. After 20 years you stand here battling to be the first ever champion in your region. Thinking about it, this is actually your theme, because you are the first champion. I just love how the intro is the main Pokemon intro. This theme makes me feel kinda old, and brings back so many old and new memories. Thinking that it's been 20 years since it all started is unbelievable, and this last journey has been fantastic. In a way it's mixed emotions, because I'm happy because of all the good adventures I've experienced, but at the same time a little sad, because this is kind of the end. The end of a great journey through the Alola region, and kind of the end of a great journey in Pokemon. And from here on is a new beginning, I think. I'm also extremely happy that Kukui wasn't that easy to beat as Diantha, because I was on the brink of losing to this guy. Luckily I got my revives. Oh, that intro. It's so good. To me this is just amazing. I think this is the perfect theme for this battle. I like the French vibe in this theme, and it would fit perfectly in Kalos, especially with the accordion they added. It's something with the choice of instruments in this theme that just clicks to me. The acoustic guitars, violins and the accordion together is very beautiful. As I mentioned earlier, I really like that I've used so much violins in Sun and Moon, because violins is a very fitting instrument for a battle theme. It's a nice touch that this theme ain't so loud as other battle themes. It's kinda more friendly and calm, but still feels intense. I think this music shows us how much these guys actually have grown. From the first time where they were just 10 years old, to being 21 years old. That's just so weird to think about. I like that Red still doesn't talk and that Blue makes fun of it. It really hits me in the nostalgia. And one more thing. Red shirt says 96. I think we all get a reference. Now remember that there are more than 20 spots that I think deserves a shoutout in the list. In fact, there are more than 20 songs that deserves a spot on the list, but there's just no space. Sun and Moon implemented so much good music that it's impossible not to mention. I wrote down a whole bunch of tracks that I wanted to include in my list, but keep in mind that I actually think almost all of the music in Sun and Moon was great. And there will be songs that I personally really like, even though I won't mention them here. You wouldn't like it either if I used 5 minutes just talking about tracks that didn't actually make the list. Well, but enough blabbering and let's get to the point here. Wild Battle, Team School Encounter, Verdant Cavern, Trial Start, Royal Battle Music, Abandoned Site, Poe Town, Aether Foundation Employee Battle Music, The Pony Vials, Lake of the Sun or Altar of the Moon, Brooklet Hill, Mount Lanika Peak, Ruins, Trainer Battle, Hometown, Lily's Theme, Route 2, Title Screen, Route 4, Hyea City at night, and the music playing right now in the Pokemon League is some of the many more that I think deserves a good amount of praise. That just tells how much I love this soundtrack. But even though there are so much beautiful music in this soundtrack, I think none of them is better than the number 1 spot. To me, this just overgoes any other music in these games. It is after all the anthem of Pokemon Sun and Moon. It has to be good. I am serious when I say that this theme made me emotional even before I played the games. It's just so beautiful and feels very powerful at the same time. By hearing this music before the games got released, I got a feeling that these games was going to be great. And they were. This music just triggers some kind of nostalgia in me, even though I played these games just recently. I will always associate this theme with the Alola region from now on. It will remind me of my first adventure through these beautiful islands. It will remind me of Kukui, Hala, Guzma, Lusamine, Gladion, Hau, and of course, Lily. Lily will always have a special place in my heart, and so will these games. As I mentioned earlier too, I think Game Freak really went all out in the It All Comes Together statement and totally outdid himself with these games. And the music is a big part of why. I just think it's fair to put a theme that represents all the other music at the first spot. Oh man, this music gives me the chills. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video that I put a lot of effort into making. However, it was fun, so it doesn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me either if you'll leave a like or a comment in the comment section. I would love to see your opinion on this soundtrack and tips to what I can do better in coming videos. After all, this is a brand new channel, so feedback would be necessary to make my channel grow. The best way to help me would be to subscribe, of course, and share it with some friends. You have no idea how much that would mean to me. And of course, there will be more videos to come in the future. Now with that said, I wish you a very good day and keep dreaming.